Sackman, and this is another one of our ongoing video blog pieces on branding. And again, this week I'm going to focus on our automobile manufacturers and boutique branding. And in this case, I want to bring us back to one of my principles from the very beginning of this series, which is it's all about execution. So branding in terms of what you try to message and your brand message and all the things you're saying are one thing. But from a customer experience level, it's all about your execution of the brand. And let's talk about two companies here that are actually the same company. So they're Toyota and Lexus are the same company. I mean, Toyota owns Lexus, but they're two different brands and they act in two different ways. And how I know this is I own a Lexus, and I've seen what happens on both the sales side and the service side of Lexus. And I'm going to give you a direct service story, but I want to talk about sales first. And that is when you enter a Toyota dealership and when you enter a Lexus dealership, they're very different. And think about the ads that are on TV associated with that. When you see a Lexus ad, it's all about the driving experience and all about the vehicle. And when you see a Toyota ad, it's all about having people show up in showrooms and look at cars. And so those are very different. One's a much more high-end experience and one's much more a commodity experience. And Toyota competes much more in the general market than Lexus does, of course. So on top of that, if you actually compare the cars, the actual vehicles involved, most of them directly overlap with some other model in the other brand. Not all of them, not all the time. But if I own a GS300 and it looks an awful lot like a Camry from the same year. Not exactly the same, but there's a lot of commonality and all of us know that. So what's different about the experience? And I'm not going to talk about the sales experience as much here as I am going to talk about the service experience. And I've used Lexus customer service for most of the life of this car. And when I take it in, I'm going to focus on one exact thing, which is the loaner. Now, when you walk in Lexus customer service, you drive up and there's a guy who takes you into his little office and you write up what you're going to have him do and what you're going to talk about. And then he asks you if you need a loaner. And if you do, you walk into, in my case, a lady's office, and she sets you up with a car, and it takes just a couple of minutes, and it's a very personalized hand-holding experience. She takes the information that she needs, hands you an agreement to make sure that you're not going to drive the car thousands of miles between the time you bring it back. And then she takes you out and you examine the car together. She hands you the keys and you walk away. This is a very high-end experience. It's enjoyable in a lot of ways because you can talk to the people and they're very personable. Now, during a period of repair and upgrade of the facility at Lexus, they had us at one time go over and get the loaners from Toyota. They had a separate line for Lexus, but the whole area was commonalized for a couple of months between Toyota and Lexus. And I can tell you, watching the Toyota owner stand in line and try to get a loaner car for the day was quite an experience. And it was very different than what I go through with Lexus. It was much more like being in an old-fashioned rental car line. Now I use National, so I never stand in lines anymore for rental cars. But very much like an old-fashioned rental car feel. And so you can see that both brands execute to where they're positioned in the market. Toyota does a much lower end experience associated with getting a loaner car for when you need your car repaired. And it's very different for Lexus where, it's very personalized, it's very hand-holding, and that's what you expect on these two different brands because of their positioning in the market. So that execution is what makes these brands what they are. So you've got the whole front-end experience around advertising and marketing, but you also have the execution differences. If I was a Lexus owner and got treated like Toyota owners did all the time, I don't know why I would be paying the extra money for a Lexus. So that's the whole difference here. And when you think about your company, you need to be thinking about all of these items. So again, this is Focal Point, Jim Sackman, change your business, change your life, and have a great day.